Amidst all of this economic turmoil, for those of us long-term Tesla bulls, we know what matters in the long run for Tesla stock is a signal over the noise. And there were several big announcements from Tesla this weekend that really matter. First, Tesla announced that full self-driving supervised is coming to Europe, pending regulatory approval. Not only did they drop a new video of FSD driving in the Netherlands, but Tesla Vice President Ashok said Tesla's full self-driving's end-to-end model is scaling well in other regions, first China and now Europe. Second, after senior Tesla executive Lars Morvey posted a note asking for suggestions on features that would make Teslas better in 2026, Grok itself confirmed that it will be rolling out the Tesla vehicles this month in April. This is a very big deal. You'll soon be able to talk to your cars. Third, in an even bigger deal, Tesla's director of cell manufacturing operations announced that this year, Tesla will fully ramp 4680 batteries now that they've achieved the lowest cost per kilowatt hour battery. Jeff Lutz is a multi-decade supply chain executive and chief quality officer. He's now CEO of his own supply chain consulting firm. Thank you, Jeff.
Hey, Herbert. Yeah, lots of good stuff going on for Tesla. Things that really rise above, anything relating to trade and tariffs. It's
exactly.
Really
I hope that this doesn't get overlooked, because these three are very big, coming directly from Tesla. Announcements that are important for the Tesla stock. You're not going to see it unless it's short term, but these things will matter, absolutely matter. So let's start off with the first one, which is Tesla Europe dropped this FSD Supervised in Europe, pending regulatory approval. They actually showed you a video, and I'm going to go ahead and play that, of FSD playing, actually driving. And I think people say this does look like the Netherlands, which is where the rumors were that they were about to get regulatory approval. But it's basically showing you that FSD can drive in Europe. I mean, they've been doing it. I mean, they're testing it. Yeah.
It's really the culmination of building a scalable platform that can rapidly adapt anywhere it gets dropped. And don't underestimate what that means, because what this would mean for other robotaxi services is they would have to map these streets out, and they would even be limited on the streets they could map out. There's streets that they can't go to. There's highways they can't get onto. So both the span and the time to achieve that span of coverage that Tesla garners with their approach is meaningful, both from a feature value perspective to consumers and then in terms of the economics of it.
This is such a great video. You can see that it's, different kinds of lanes, like a lot of single lanes. You got lots more bike lanes. You got these, it's very different than you would see in the US. But the point is that there would be cities in the US that does have these kinds of scenarios, and it needs to be able to drive there too. But there's different signs, laws, legalities, and they're basically showing you that it's ready to go. So not only did Tesla Europe drop this, so this is a very good signal that it's actually going to be, getting regulatory approval anytime soon. But you also have Ashok coming out saying this: FSD's end-to-end model continues to scale well to other regions, first China, now Europe. Again, a VP of Tesla, the guy in charge of full self-driving, confirming that it's coming to Europe. Omar said this, and I don't know how true this is, Jeff, but he said that once a vehicle or system, like Tesla's full self-driving supervised, receives type approval from a recognized authority in one EU country, that approval is valid across the entire European Economic Area, which includes the 27 EU countries, plus Iceland, Liechtenstein, Norway, 30 countries in total. This mutual recognition eliminates the need for separate approvals in each country, streamlining market access. The EU also integrates standards from the UNECE under the 1958 agreement. That's the actual entity that approves autopilot and driving. So 60 countries. This sounds right.
Well, type approval is used in other industries too. We use it in the mobile phone industry as well. There's obviously different standards, but that whole process for type approval is one of the stages you'd have to go through to get broad market access or regulatory approval. I'm not sure. I've not stepped through all of the documents in terms of do individual countries inside of the EU have provisions, but Omar's right here that type approval is a big deal for market access, and having that is very important. I haven't stepped through everything, for Germany, for UK, for UK, for France, for everyone else to see if there's any things that are put on top of that. But yeah, this is a big deal. This is a big deal for Tesla. And it really shows you that this 13.2.8 is extremely powerful in terms of its model, its adaptation time, and its performance, that it can just be dropped into multiple 3 continents now. It's amazing.
It's amazing. It's very, very important, actually. I always said that it's unlikely that Europe will, because we kept saying Europe is your regulatory bogged down. They'll take them years. Well, Tesla's been saying that they're going to have regulatory approval in Europe and by the first half of 2025. If they can get it done within a couple months, then they got it. But this is giving you a lot of confidence it's coming. So now, because the reason you can't have Europe not do this is that you can't have China, FSD doing it in China and the US and other countries, of course, and then they're heading towards robotaxi. And this is such an impact on transportation. It's such an impact on shipping, right? Can you speak a little bit to that? Like if one country had autonomous cars, autonomous shipping, trucking versus others don't, what would that do to Europe if they didn't follow suit,
It's all about dollars. Right now, there's dollars dedicated to rail. There's dollars dedicated to trucking. There's dollars dedicated to short distance delivery. There's dollars dedicated to couriers. There's there's pools of these dollars. So if Tesla can design a better mousetrap where the cost, for vehicles and trucking delivery is, fractions of what it is with other services, you're going to pull TAM into that space that didn't exist before. And then the market grows incredibly wide for Tesla. So I think it's really important. And even another quick important thing in this tariff environment, these cars can be built and configured without full self-driving. So without all of this value added into it. So if you are going to tariff the product, let's say you're importing the product and you are going to tariff it for whatever reason, again, Tesla localizes their supply chain very well. But if there was an import duty, they could, with the fact that they have a subscription service or they have a way to basically purchase it after the main purchase has been made, they can avoid a lot of this. So it's actually a good thing. Now they may come, by the way, these countries may come back and want to start doing digital tariffing on software. And that's where I think it becomes a really slippery slope. There are examples of them trying to do that. But anyway, I think they've designed a very good system here.
The other thing that Tesla forwarded yesterday was, this is why autonomy matters. FSD Supervised avoids a collision with hard-to-see pedestrian. This guy, Electric Cowboy, said, my car just saved this guy's life. I never saw him in the dark. As the car is driving, there's this person that was walking that FSD saw. So here's driving. Oh, there's actually a person there with a shopping cart, and the car maneuvered out of it. That's something that it's hard to see. So that's good. The next big note here, you've got Grok. Lars Morvey posted this. He said, let's make Teslas better. What do you all want for 2026? Lars is one of the top Tesla executives out there, and he's asking people to give him feedback. What do you all want for Teslas to make them better for 2026? You got 11,000 comments, 3 million views. And then this guy, including me, by the way, asked, how about Grok on the cars? Grok itself said, on my way. And Grok later replied to somebody else saying, hey there, I'm Grok. And looks like I'm already rolling out the Tesla vehicles as of April this year. April now. Some owners report me in their cars with a spring update, but full availability might still be in progress. Stay tuned for official Tesla updates. When you read something like this, you go, oh my God, this can't be right. But this is coming from Grok itself saying that we're being rolled out to Tesla vehicles this month. Whoa, that's big news.
Yeah, and what I could see Tesla do, this is going to be a game changer, by the way. This is going to absolutely be a game changer. I think it will come in layers. So I think you're going to get some level of capability where you press the voice button, or it could be always listening. I think there'll probably be an option for always listening, or press the voice button to engage it. But you're going to have more of this because Tesla's done the end-to-end loop, both from a software perspective all the way down to the silicon. So from a hardware perspective, They have the base layer silicon all the way to the microphone you're speaking into and all the way to the speaker that you're hearing the output on. That's all Tesla owned. They own that technology. They're not going and buying something from Bosch. They're not going and buying something from somebody, asking them for a chunk of code, Tesla engineers the entire thing from end to end. I'm not saying Tesla's making microphones and speakers, be very correct. They have suppliers for those things, but they're not buying the complete engineered assembly and system from a sub-supplier, which is what the other auto manufacturers would do in this situation. So Tesla engineers the thing from the base layer of silicon all the way out to the speaker and mic, and therefore they understand the timing, they control the latency, they can make this thing really conversational, they can make it sound really good. The audio in Tesla cars is already very good. What I think you'll have is, I think you'll start getting, think of this concentric circle, and this, it's starting to fan out in terms of capability with Grok. So I think you'll have a limited set of commands in the beginning and a limited set of conversational ability in the beginning, and then I think it will expand rapidly. And that's the thing with AI and with Tesla's AI assets with partnering with XAI, is this can expand rapidly, and all of a sudden now you're going to have all this kind of superhuman information at the tone of your voice in terms of when you want to engage. And of course, this is the bridge. Now it's for Tesla consumer vehicles. Get it debugged, get it out there. There's millions of Tesla vehicles, and this is going to be imperative for the robotaxi service. So you engage with consumers when they get in the vehicle. You understand. You can now map the language model world and the physical real world together, and you can start looking at these things. All of a sudden, the physical real world AI will take the inside cabin camera, scan the vehicle, and say, "Wow, I just scanned it, and I did an optical diff on the back seats, and all of a sudden, I see this kind of elevation in terms of the picture, what's going on. I see an anomaly." That's not what a bare seat would look like. And all of a sudden, you say, "Oh, wow, it looked like you left your wallet here." And boom, it goes out to Grok and it says, "Hey, you may have left your wallet in here." It could ping them audibly while they're trying to leave the car, or ping their device, which would be connected to it as well. So this is next level stuff. That's just one example I gave you. But this whole Tesla engineering it from top to bottom, being able to connect the kind of the language model, AI, kind of understanding the universe with Grok, with the real world AI of Tesla AI, being able to blend those two together, I think it's pretty compelling. There can be so many other examples. It could be, changing routes, could be asking the vehicle to hurry a bit or to slow down a bit, or you name it. So I think it's imperative for a real robotaxi service. And I think this is going to be one of the major differentiating features from a Tesla robotaxi to everyone else's. I'm not saying that everyone else won't have some sort of language model assistant integrated, but go back to my original conversation of it being fully engineered end-to-end, timing, latency, performance, and capability.
Yeah, it's unlimited what benefits this will be. But, this is when we're going to really find out that this is not a car. It's a computer on wheels. It's a robot AI on wheels. And
right.
And then remember how Elon used to say, he said that it's funny because I have a cat and you have a cat. My cat can sing and dance. But when you look at my cat, you think it just looks like a cat. Well, once you have Grok installed in it, then you really can see the tremendous difference. You can establish a relationship with it. And your points that, number one, Tesla did not have to buy this. They have a relationship with XAI. They will have to pay for it, but it's kind of built in, vertically integrated. But the latency is so critical because of the inference chip that's in the car. Tesla's going to be better than any other car. The way that you speak to it, how fast it can reply to you, could be all the difference. Just tremendous amount of features. Here's one that, it's a small one, but it looks like it's coming from the code. People were digging into the code in the Tesla's vehicles, and they found that soon Tesla's going to display emergency vehicle alerts when the vehicle hears a siren. So just last month, they started to turn on the microphones you were saying, right? All the different things that the car has, input devices. One of them is the microphone. It's listening for sirens, but soon it'll actually be able to use that info and display it to you on the screen, maybe even tell you. But obviously you hear it, now the car hears it. So that's coming soon. This is another good example that maybe if you see it in the code already, this was one of the features that we're waiting for. So that might be coming soon.
This. We need this for robotaxi. There's things that have to happen, have to be integrated, have to work. And this is one of them.
This is a third big thing that happened from a Tesla executive this weekend. You have Michael Guilfoyle. He's the director of cell manufacturing operations. He posted this on LinkedIn, and he confirmed a few things and said something new, which is about the ramping up. But basically, he said, been waiting to acknowledge this great achievement by Tesla's 4680 cell manufacturing team since the end of last year. But as Elon announced last night, our cell manufacturing team in Texas reached he posted it 2 weeks ago, reached a huge milestone at the end of 2024 with becoming the lowest cost per kilowatt hour battery cell producer for Tesla. So they're basically claiming that 4680 is the lowest cost per kilowatt hour battery cells out there right now. Big thanks to the entire engineering production team. It's greatest honor in my career to lead this team. Then he said this, and we aren't done yet. 2025, this is this year, we'll have more big milestones with fully ramped dry battery electrode manufacturing to delivering more cost efficiency. He's talking about getting to the fully ramped process already. This is a big deal. What's your thoughts about this, Jeff?
First, congrats to the Tesla team. This has been a long time coming. It's a lot of work. It's very difficult to do. Tesla is not originally a battery company. There's companies like BYD, like Cattle, that, it's their whole part of their whole company history. It's now really is a part of Tesla's company history. They started with buying batteries on the open market, and then they did this JV with Panasonic. And then ever since, they've been working on their own solution with the 4680, and they're also working on developing their their own LFP solution in the US and other geographies. I would just, before the party hats go on, if I were on the other side of this and say I was buying this battery, so I would want to understand, okay, cost per kilowatt hour, that is one spec, and that's a very important spec. And so you have to rank specs, and that's one of the more important ones. But I would want to know the other specs. I would want to know charge time. I would want to know power density. I would want to know energy density. I would want to know a number of different things and where did those hit, because all those things matter in terms of what I'm buying and what's the end cost of the total system, and what's the lifetime cost of the total system based on cycle life and other things for how long this lasts. And Tesla may be hitting all these other parameters. They just didn't talk about it because they wanted to just get it out there of lowest cost per kilowatt hour. That's fine. But if I'm on the other end of this, I would want to know some of these other key performance specs, and did we hit those? Mainly, again, energy density, power density, charge time. There's other metrics as well. There's probably 5 to 7 key other metrics besides cost per kilowatt hour. But again, great progress. This is the key. What end state looks like for Tesla factories building cars is a smaller battery operation that could be cut and paste and put into these factories now globally. So think Berlin, all that stuff was put on pause because we weren't there from a 4680 perspective. The prior process with all the oven baking, the wet process involved, it's much longer process, much more costlier process. This eliminates a bunch of process steps and gets us, better performance and gets us a lower cost structure. So this is what's needed, I think, for Tesla to have to return this leverage back to the battery industry and say, all right, I've been working on this for a while, and I need you. I need all my other supply partners. I need you to. I'm going to up the game here, and I want lower pricing than the other stuff I'm sourcing. By the way, this really helps in a tariff world when we just talked about it prior. If we're going to 105% on China, we're buying LFP right now from China for Tesla Megapacks. we were buying it for Tesla vehicles as well. And so now when you take the cost per kilowatt hour up 105%, that does something to the business case.
Great points about all the different things you need to look at, but I'm hopeful that 4680 is going to have a lot of benefits beyond just price. Still, lowest cost is a big deal. That is the most important deal. Let's listen to what actually Elon did say.
Our mission is to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy.
It's only possible because of the incredible people here at Tesla. They are absolutely
Oh, you know what? Nope, that's the wrong one. I thought I had the clip of him actually saying that he's proud of the lower cost. Okay, so 4680s.
We know it.
Yeah, we know it, and he said it. Here's the other one that happened just this weekend. You were asking for this for the longest time. You said, why is it that in North America factories, Tesla is still selling just the launch series? Well, they finally stopped this launch series. They have introduced a regular version. Currently, only the long range is available, but here are the price points: $48,990, $1,000 more than the Legacy. But still, it's available now, not just the launch series anymore. Here we have it in all these countries. And so I think this is a sign, right, Jeff, that basically we've now done it. We've now stopped the old cars. We are now got fully ramped or close to fully ramping the new Model Ys in all factories. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, when they go on for sale on the website, they enter the website at or near the lead times that are targeted for main production. So meaning they probably could have lit this up 3 or 4 weeks ago, but they wouldn't have had the supply. So the 1 to 3 weeks you see for lead time would have been, 3 to 5 or 4 to 6. And then that changes, people's purchase decisions. So just be careful when people are, and I'm too, it does get exciting when a particular geography sells out. Tesla Korea sold out, for example, but we saw the long lines there. We saw the great interest, and we've seen the growth in Korea for Tesla sales. So there is something special happening there. But when Tesla puts a new model for sale, they don't wait, but they strive to get, and they do wait, until they get supply at a point where the amount of vehicles in supply will equal what they think the order inflow rate is to maintain their service level, meaning, how many weeks to order and receive the product. So just keep that in mind. So you see the 1 to 3 weeks, this took a period of time to get to that. I was a little surprised that they had the handover event in the first week of March, and then they waited 4 weeks to put the vehicle on sale. So that to me tells me that they had to work through some more ramp issues. And now that the factory is probably running hopefully close to the rate it needs to run at for its peak production. So it took us all the way into April. So for people to think about.
All right. So, obviously Tesla stock long-term investors are kind of, going through another bumpy ride with the roller coaster. But again, signals, right? You've been saying this repeating that word over and over for the last month. More happens more now. If you're long-term investors, you got things that Tesla is saying they're going to do, takes them longer, then starts happening. You got FSD in China, you got FSD in Europe now, you got Grok finally coming to us at this point. You got 4680s, which were delayed for a long time. And then people were saying, oh, here comes the Semi. Semi is really, really behind as well. There was an article written this weekend too. Tesla Semi suffers more delays and dramatic price increase. Immediately, Dan Priestley, who's in charge of the Semi program at Tesla, said no change to schedule, multiple incorrect conclusions. The future is bright, electric, and cost effective. And where are we going here? Lars Morvey, there we go. Lars also said Dan is correct. So it sounds like that the Semi is not delayed in schedule, still moving forward. Everything's going well. Final thoughts, Jeff?
No, this has been a long time in the coming. So I think it's fair to say, we went to, Xander and I went to the launch event for Semi. I want to say it was December 1st of 2022. And we walked around a facility and there was a launch event and a couple of Semis were handed over to Pepsi. And so now we're in 2025. So I think but this wasn't the grounds for the article. The grounds for the article was there's some sort of new delays. I think what the Tesla team is saying is what we've recently committed to publicly is where we're going. But obviously there's been a number of circumstances over the last year, but it's high time. We need semis in production, starting at the end of 2025 and beyond. I know other priorities have popped up, and the team's doing tremendous work. It is time. But yeah, it's strange. There's just, if you look at the percentage of articles and their sentiment, they're never correct in the positive. They're never wrong in the positive direction for Tesla, if that makes sense. I never see these articles coming out of saying these things about Tesla and they're positive, but they're incorrect. It's always they're negative, and then they have to be corrected sometimes. I'm glad that Tesla, spoke to this directly, but it just kind of speaks to the sentiment right now of the media. It's overly hyper negative, but that's where, you can run through this process yourself of separating signal from noise and understand your time horizon, understand the thesis for the company, and has anything changed that thesis for the company? They're disrupting autonomy, automobiles, semis, robo-taxis, and then eventually going into humanoid. If anything disrupts that, you can look macro and you can look micro. That's when you start thinking differently. But it's really exciting to see the Tesla team just heads down and working through this. It's also exciting to see that their approach to supply chain, their approach to engineering is paying off. These were things that Elon and his leadership team saw 5, 6, 7 years ago to localize supply chain, to vertically integrate, and now it's paying off. And they may have a multi-year advantage on others.
Thank you so much, Jeff. I appreciate that we did this show, because in the past 2 days, vast majority of people did not even realize all these things happened. These are Tesla executives making the announcement that full self-driving supervised coming to Europe pending regulatory approval. You've got 4680 batteries are actually going to full scale this year. You got Grok saying that they're coming to Teslas maybe even this month, timing directly from Grok itself, and the Semi is still on track according to
no other auto brand can say that they're doing all this. This is truly, if you think about brand, just
batteries, FSD,
FSD, everything, and it's real. It's not like we're making this announcement and then there's no product. These are coming out in real. We're going to see a software update in our cars. So I can't think of any. Not only auto brand, I can't think of any product brand doing this kind of innovation. So really hats off to the Tesla leadership team and their ability to execute with all this noise around them. These are major product deliveries, and there's just nothing what they're delivering. There's just nothing like it out there. So congrats to the team.
Thank you so much, Jeff. Appreciate you. Follow him on X at the Jeff Lutz. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.
I've created a website that is the most comprehensive resource for the Tesla investor. Please check it out. Simply go to my website at herbertong.com.